Welcome to the Brits Network. My name is Ken. Today on the desk we have the 1966 Ford GT Mark II, also known as the Mark II Race. This is a LEGO Technic set. It was released in 2026, so it's just released beginning of January. It contains 793 pieces, has a retail price of $74.99, 74 euros and 99 cents, and 64 pounds and 99 cents. All right, so what we're gonna do a quick unboxing through the speed build, and then also do a quick review at the end. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Welcome to the review portion of the video of the Ford GT40 MKII from 1966. Now, I was pretty excited when I saw this available. It's one of my favorite vehicles of all time. The car that actually won the Le Mans race and beat Ferrari. I'm sure you guys have seen that movie, Ford versus Ferrari. So this is the iconic vehicle, and it's one of the first vehicles, well, historic vehicles that LEGO has actually made in this Technic configuration. So I was very excited and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. So there's some really cool features on this vehicle. A lot of the functionality is just on the doors, the engine covers, and etc., which all started to pop open here. So as you can see, the doors open up. You have the engine cover there, and then you also have the front trunk opens up just like that there. And yeah, that's all the openings. I'll show you some of the hinges that are pretty interesting, but it was a wonderful vehicle to build. I did have some challenges, I must say, which I'll point out, but overall it went pretty smoothly. There were some things in the instructions, because I always use the app, because it has like 3D versions of the building instructions, so you can manipulate it a little bit and see different angles of where certain studs should go, which I always recommend to use. But even using that, I did make some mistakes, which I'll point out. So now that we have some of the details here, I'll turn it around to the front. You have the front here, the clear headlights. Close that down. Yeah. The side view, and then the trunk here. Well, the rear. And while you're moving, the engine, the pistons move up and down, which is really cool. If you guys can see that. Yeah, there we go. That's a better view. And you have the steering at the top here. The wheels are lovely in that gold. So the rear of the vehicle, which is one of the things I don't really like. I wish they would have gave us some pieces to kind of fill this area in. That is void back here. It looks kind of weird, but this is the only fault I have of the actual design, but the lines are pretty nice. All right, so let's get to some of the issues that I had. There are a couple pieces in this door section. So I don't know if you can see the hinge here. This hinge right here. In the instructions, I don't know if it was my fault or the instructions, but I had some issues putting that in. And the way that it was showing in the instructions, it actually came out this way. And I had to rebuild this and complete door again, and that was a pain, because you, of course, pulling these things out, it starts to get a little tiring and complicated. The other issue that I had was this piece here. So right here, you have some L black pieces. I don't remember seeing anything in instructions that said to fold these up, because when I had them, they were actually laying down this way. And once you get to a certain point to start putting this door in, these have to be folded up in their current position. And I don't remember seeing anything in the instructions to say to push these up. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it was a glitch in my builder's app, but I didn't see it. So that was a little frustrating. The other thing that I ended up doing, which was a fault of my own, was I saw the building instructions, and you see that the driver's steering wheel is on the right-hand side. Me, being a person from the US, Ford guy, I was like, why did they put it on the right-hand side? All the other GT40s I've seen always had the steering wheel on the left-hand side. So I switched it originally. I don't know if you guys actually watched the video, but I'm sure some of you guys caught it. I switched the steering wheel and built everything in reverse. But I actually went on the internet and found the picture of the actual Le Mans winning GT40, and yeah, the driver's side's on the right side. So I had to go back and rebuild that entire section again and put the steering wheel back on the right hand side. But that was a fault of my own. Yeah. But other than that, those were the only issues that I had with that door hinge. Like I said, I don't know what it was, but I had an issue on both sides. This hinge piece here, I had to rebuild that section, and then also this piece right here, right there, I had to rebuild that section as well. But yeah, overall, besides rebuilding those sections, just the angle of this vehicle, it is actually gorgeous. One of my favorite cars to date that I built, and even just the hinges of having this rear engine compartment to hold up. We build it in those Technic pieces here. The way this swings open is a pretty good design, and how it all lays and hinges in. It's really nice. Lastly, there were a couple pieces that I hadn't seen before. One of them was this corner piece here. I put a picture. If you guys have seen this in another set, let me know, but this was the first time I've seen that piece. It was a really interesting piece. It was cool that it actually gives you the, that design element of sloping down, but it was really interesting. Yeah. But yeah, it's really, really nice vehicle. I recommend you guys to pick it up. For the price, it's actually not too bad. Almost 10 cents a piece, a Lego piece. It kind of works out that way, a little under that. So price-wise, it's not too bad. It's not like the new Star Wars sets that are ridiculously expensive, but overall, this is a good buy. You guys definitely got to pick it up just from a historic standpoint. And, like I said, it doesn't have tons of functionality, but a lot of these parts actually move, and you can lift up the trunk and front and the doors. Everything is well made. Well made. All right. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And I look forward to seeing you guys' comments. And what do you think about this build? Would you pick this up? You guys have any issues with building this? Let me know. I'm always happy to help. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.